Welcome to the West Ham Network. This is your highlights review show. I honestly, I'm struggling for words from that performance. That was a wild scenario. To be honest, a game of two halves in terms of everyone. Like, and to be honest, I think there was only ever really one segment of 5 minutes that I felt like West Ham actually had some decent play. Um, But I think for the first 4 or 5 minutes, we kept Arsenal pinned in their own half. Um, and then after that, they destroyed us. And then suddenly, out of the blue, we got 2 goals back, and we just never ever took advantage of that at all in any part of the game. And I don't know. I'm watching games from West Ham, albeit like that's 13 games we've played this season, and 12 games I've been really bored, really bad. Like, I've not enjoyed them at all, and I don't know how many more games I'm willing to give a chance to the Lopetegui system because I'm not seeing it. I've been thinking about there just in the tail end of that game finishing, and I'm thinking to myself, we've got Leicester and Wolves next, and then Bournemouth. I don't know, like, if he gets badly beat against Leicester, he's got to go. He has to go because we've got no direction. I said before the show, as long as we see some form of identity today, then you can kind of accept a defeat. But there was nothing. It's not just on Lopetegui; it's on a lot of the players as well. We were just outplayed. We didn't look as fit as what Arsenal look. They are went on their day a very, very good team, a good passing team, and I just don't understand how we just look panicky. Like, a lot of our players look panicky on the ball, really panicky on the ball. I genuinely thought the change of guard, the change and shift, the different boss, change of players, etc., would have really changed things, but it just feels the same. It's just the same old West Ham. Same old West Ham not taking the piss, same old West Ham getting the piss taken out of us, and it's really, really disappointing. And I am thinking about the next couple of games, and I'm thinking, how many more games can I give Lop? Because we the next 3 games are vital in terms of points and teams we're playing, because if we're not going to beat the teams in the top 4, top 6, then we're going to have to certainly beat the teams in and around us. But if we perform like that, not like we did against Newcastle, but like that, and like we have done for like the 11 or 12 other games in the Premier League season, like, we will struggle. We can't take anything away from Arsenal. And then they killed the game in the second half. They knew exactly what they were doing. They could not afford to concede another goal, so they just slowed the game right down. And they were happy to go on the counter all the time. People are going to walk away from this and go, but Arsenal were on form. Arsenal on their day. You just take the bullet and move on and deal with it. The problem is we've done that a lot this season. And there's just really nothing. There was nothing. Lackluster, no energy again. And Arsenal in a London derby at home should have everything without needing to really find it. Again, like I said, there was that kind of 2-minute to 3-minute spell in the first half where we kind of hit them with 2 goals, and you could feel that momentum switch slightly, but we just couldn't maximise it. We've never been able to maximise it, and that's the frustrating part. It's a massively frustrating part for me, and I'm just like, I could be done. I could be done with it. I've never jumped so early in terms of making a decision under a manager, but I want to give Lopetegui time, and I feel like the board will give him time. And I think the Leicester game is going to be massively vital. But looking at Lopetegui, he looks like a done guy. He looks like he's done. He looks like he's going to struggle. He doesn't really know. He looks a bit lost, and I'm a bit lost. I'm massively lost in this game. And I'm going to come on to the comments in a second. We'll go live to the London Stadium in a second as well. Chris is saying Saka's a muppet. I agree with that. Well, that was just rubbish. We got beat 5-2, Freddie. Just did 5-2. Rubbishio. Well, that was rubbish. Just rubbish. Chris is saying Lopetegui out. Chris says I want Moyes back. Mike is saying, is it bad old days? Some of these fakers would have known what a foul was. Imagine the cost of a season ticket to watch that. Your midfield was a disgrace. Right, as Mummy said, you can. Yeah. Cool. Your midfield was a disgrace. The space between attacking them Sunday league stuff. I can't deny that. I cannot deny that. I completely agree with you 100%. Giving player ratings would be an insult on top of misery. I agree with you as well. First half garbage. We had got a lucky couple of goals, but they didn't even try second half. We were never even laid a glove on them. Looked disinterested, Anton. We did, mate. We did. There was actually one point, I think, in the second half we got hold of the ball and we were literally we were walking. Just looked like we were walking, and it's really tough. It's really, really, really tough to see that. For anyone that's interested in the statistics, it was 60% possession for Arsenal to West Ham's 40%. Total shots 16 of Arsenal to West Ham's 12. But obviously they just took their chances dramatically. They passed the ball 472 times. West Ham did it 313 times as well. Why bring on a player who doesn't want to be here on a kid useless? To be honest with you, the substitutions don't make sense. Kudus coming back in is going to be a godsend for the next couple of games. What we need is Kudus through the middle. That's got potential to shake things up. Ridiculous amount of fouls awarded to Arsenal. Ridiculous, absolutely. Let's see, 13 fouls. They got 13 fouls. And the penalty as well. The penalty is the one that kind of kicked it off. Everyone gets a 0 for the player ratings, 100%. Troj, AWB was good. Wan-Bissaka was good. Lopetegui out. You overrate Paquetá. He's a liability. You're carrying him. This season, yeah, completely agree with you. We definitely have been. But in terms of the game against Newcastle, I thought, man, we that was it. I thought we were flying. I thought it was going to kickstart our season, but absolutely not. Raymond, the players, especially Bowen, after his tune interview, need to take a good look at themselves. They believe in each other? They're not showing up on the pitch. They just something needs to switch. We just don't have that va-va-voom. We don't have that energy, that drive. We don't have that camaraderie. We don't have that connection. I just don't understand. Like, it feels like for 3 years since we won the Europa Conference League, for three years we've been on a gradual decline of performances, and we look like we're players that don't know how to actually hold on to the ball. We look like we panic. We look like we panic when we play from the back. We done it against Newcastle, and albeit it was successful, there was a couple of times there was some squeaky bum moments, but there was no way you could do that against Arsenal. When Arsenal were doing it, Real was coming out playing sweeper keeper and doing it no problem at all, getting around all our players. Wanted Paquetá dropped 3 months ago. Lopetegui out. Oh, the birth of Alvarez, God willing. Bowen's looked awful. Our centre back partnership are a week in the air. Called it for the start of the season. Damien, I can see your comment. Hey, I can see your comment. I think you've written it 40 times. That was a London derby. Well, it certainly didn't feel like one, Chris, mate. It certainly did not feel like it. Currently stayed up till 3:30 AM to watch that. Apologies, mate. Apologies. Don't care about Arsenal's form. We had 3 touches in the opposition box. Get him gone. Yeah, tough one to take. Not replace Zuma. I just thought to assume the same midfield with the same results against Arsenal was naive by Lopo. Probably naive. Absolutely. But it's funny because as much as they had the ball, like, we just didn't have the ability to play football in this game. Just couldn't get hold of possession at all. Damien, you're going wild, mate. We're still carrying some big names that are not living up to their potential. Would anyone play Kudus as a false 9? Plays with Soler and Paquetá in the middle while we're playing with Bowen and Somerville. There's definitely some interesting conversations to be had when Kudus comes back, but we can't play Kudus out on the left and just think that that's just going to be normal, because it's not going to be normal. And let's all be honest here, right? The next 3 games we play, all those 3 teams played today. Leicester got smashed 4-1. Wolves got smashed 4-2 from Bournemouth, who we play in the 3rd game. So the next 3 games are huge, but I don't even know if we don't do well, Lopetegui makes the next 3 games. I think it's like it's all on Leicester. It's a bad performance. He's a bad performance away against Leicester, losing his job. He definitely is. Troj, when I suggested dropping Paquetá earlier this season, I got so much hate on Reddit. Guess I was right all along. My only gripe is the scoreline is unrealistic and did not expect to beat Arsenal. I'd start the game 11, same 11 against Leicester. Yeah, well, I don't know if I would. Look, Trini, I think Kudus has got to come back in. He's got to come back in. I think what changes the whole system really is or what changes the dynamics of this team is putting Kudus through the middle. I think that's the only thing I can kind of hope for. Get him out, get Bilic in. Take away 2 poor penalties is only 2-3. I know, but that's a lot to try and do it as well, isn't it? Like, we were outplayed most of the, well, particularly in the first half. Training camp for Arsenal, shocking. In actual fact, we were outplayed the whole game. The reason why is because they dictated how the second half went. That's the frustrating part. Officials gave them everything. Arsenal won't win the league. I don't think they will either. Blatant corners, throw-ins and penalties. There's just no effort from the players, really, except for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Saliba, heads down, Bowen and nothing, Somerville. Yeah, the refereeing, listen, I'm not trying to say that would have gone our way. But it certainly didn't help. It certainly did not help. Let me just see something here. We're just waiting for the lads to come on live from the London Stadium. Didn't even do anything in the second half. Looked like a training match from Chris. 2-2 football from Troj. David said, I told yous. Trinity says second was not a penalty. The first one looked soft. I think they both were, definitely. Second one as well. There he is. He's in the house. He is in the house, DJ Russie B.
Oh, man.
Mate.
In it.
What a wild first half.
It was mental, wasn't it? It was proper mental. There's a 30 minute thing, and it was just crazy. And yeah, and then obviously a little fight back, but to be honest, Arsenal were neutral second half, weren't they? To be fair,
that's the thing. I said just before you came on, Arsenal dictated that game from start to end, and the reason why they dictated it in the second half was because they killed it off in the second half. So Arteta's gone, you don't need to go at them because going at them has made us concede 2 goals. So just kill them off. We don't need to do anything else. Just kill them off. Doesn't matter. And you know what? That's the tactics he's taking, because when you look at Jorginho in the 90th minute when Arsenal have got a free kick and he's standing in front of Fabianski being a wanker, and they're 5-2 up with a minute to go, and he's like trying to block Fabianski from talking to his wall. Like, that's ridiculous tactics. It's ridiculous tactics from Arteta. Like killing the game's not ridiculous tactics, but Arteta just does himself no favours, because you know that they're just weasels, because he's telling Jorginho in the 91st minute, 5-2 up, stand in front of Fabianski and fucking wind him up. Like, you're such a dick. The referee done it. Yeah, you know.
I would. At the end of the day, if Lopetegui had said to Paquetá to do the same, I'd congratulate him. Do you know what I mean? It's dark arts, isn't it? It's dark arts when it's not against you. I think West Ham always are a bit naive. Do you remember, like in Europe, that it took us about a season to get used to how European teams played. We're a very naive side, and again today, it's like we've let. As I said, we conceded an absolute barrage. Alex can't even bother to walk over to me. That's how annoyed he is today. But it's just one of those things, and it's just we sit there and it's like, well, an improvement on last year.
We didn't lose 6-0.
We didn't lose 6-0, did we?
No, we didn't.
How are you?
You right? Confused. I really don't know how to feel about that game. I mean, look, first like half an hour or so we were shit.
Yeah.
And then we kind of semi got back into it, didn't we? I think
for five minutes.
Yeah,
5
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah, for 5 minutes, and then I don't know. I've seen a couple of videos where people are saying that Fabianski just punched Lieber in the face. I don't have a problem with him doing that generally, but if he gives away a penalty, then yeah.
Was that? I mean, that was hard. I thought that was really harsh.
It
In
was
all
a
honesty.
really soft penalty. Really
It was a
fucking
soft penalty. He went to punch the ball,
Yeah.
and he was half a second, if that,
Yeah.
from getting the ball. You know
Well,
what I mean?
this
It's like-
is the question I've got. Like, I have no idea. I haven't really seen it back. It kind of just numbed the game, and I kind of had expectations for the second half that we were going to see like a very dramatic second half.
yes,
But
me too.
It was just a real letdown. I just literally saw a post of someone on TikTok said, "Why did I even bother watching that second half?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?"
Well,
Why?
the frustrating thing, I think, really what came about that, I said to Russ, Alex, before you came on, that Arsenal dictated that game from the 0th minute to the 90th minute
Yeah.
because they chose to kill the game off in the second half. They knew that by just doing what they were doing in the first half was probably the game probably could have ended up fucking 8-6 the way
Yeah.
it was going. And
Yeah.
I'm not even joking like that. Like we were starting to get creeping in a little bit, and he was like, "No, you just need to stop doing what you're doing, lads, and do it." And I suppose fair play to Arteta for that. And there's not just too much of a blame on Lopetegui. Like, I do think Lopetegui's under mega pressure, right? And it's the first time I'm really even seriously considering saying, like, maybe it is time to look at it, because the next 3 games, this is where my attention turns to. We've got Leicester, Wolves, and Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
Now, Leicester, like, if he loses convincingly bad, like quite bad, like he could be gone.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they would take if he lost very bad against Leicester. I don't think they would let him get to Wolves against his former team. I just don't think they would do that.
Well, Leicester,
Um,
you've got Rude, obviously, haven't you? Rude's first game.
Yeah.
in charge. Well,
Yeah,
They lost
and then
4-1 today, didn't they?
yeah,
So,
and then you've got Wolves, who lost 4-2 today against Bournemouth, who we played in the third game. So for me, there's so much riding on the next 3 games, but in particular the next one, because Leicester are not playing well.
No.
And if
No.
he goes to Leicester, if we go to Leicester and we do something like that, or do something like we've done to some of the teams earlier in the season, then it's going to be a real slog. And the only saving grace I can think of is that Kudus is coming back, and my only
Yeah.
saving grace from Kudus coming back is that as long as he doesn't play Kudus out on the left, and then we resort back to what we were doing before, like, that's just fucking pointless. So
yeah. And Paqueta didn't get a yellow card today, so he's not suspended.
It's not.
And he's playing, so he'll
No.
be playing because obviously he's giving evidence via video link on the Tuesday with his hearing. But it's
I mean, look, I was watching that first half. Arsenal were by far the better team. They were brilliant.
they were on it.
They were on it from the very first minute.
Yes.
They were getting to every second ball. We weren't quick enough. We were giving away sloppy passes and things like that. Now, I don't think that necessarily means that we set up wrong or anything, because there was a lot of individual mistakes I was watching. We kept on giving the ball away. You can't account for that as a manager. Players just making sloppy passes. But we
Now,
were.
the flip. Now, what's interesting, I think, is people were demanding we stayed the same, and we stayed the same.
We did.
And yeah, perfect. But were we too open?
I
you know,
think. Well,
against
yeah, I do.
Arsenal?
I think what we tried to do is we tried to play Arsenal at their own game, and they're just better at it.
Yeah.
They're not. They've been playing together. This Arsenal team, have been playing together pretty much for 2 years. They're very used to playing this way of football. They know what they're doing. They can read each other really, really well. They know where they're all going to be. We are just, we're still a team that is trying to start playing this way, and we are going to make mistakes. So if we're going to try and play the same way that Arsenal are playing, they're going to be better at us because they're more drilled at playing that way.
I do think, right, I think there is an element of what you're saying is true there, Alex, right? But and you've obviously seen in the West Ham Network chat, I do agree with the point that we're actually letting them play. And in actual fact, when you look at the stats, it really kind of proves that point in the first half in particular. We just couldn't, in actual fact, we couldn't get the fucking ball. That was the issue. We couldn't get the ball. So because we were doing a really weird static so when their defense had the ball, we kind of held off at like 7. We were like not at the edge of the 18-yard box, but never pressed their defenders and never pressed Rhea. And we were static. It was like we were trying to be clever when they were coming out. And I think for the first 4 minutes, it worked because we pinned them in their area. Then once Arsenal realised, well, all we need to do is simple diagonal balls and we'll get out of the situation, that's fine. But when you look at the stats, like that's where they played their most passes and they trumped us in passing in the first half, trumped us in possession, trumped us in chances, shots, you name it. But we just could not get the ball off them. They were happy just to ping the ball around and be simple. And they just waited patiently. And I think my biggest issue with that was we've seen West Ham turn up to London derbies before, even against Arsenal, and do better than what that is. You know, apart from the 6-0, and the 5-2, like they're kind of whatever. But the other ones, we've done better. We've done better than that, and that's where I think, like, I came out of the Newcastle going, we've got a little bit of identity, we've got a little bit of va-va-voom, but tonight there was no identity, nothing from West Ham again.
No, I do agree with you there, Aaron. I mean, there was definitely a lot of negatives today. But if you said to me, am I convinced that Newcastle was a one-off? The Newcastle performance was a one-off, based on that. I'm still not convinced that was a one-off because of just the way Arsenal played. And you've got to see how we perform against Leicester. Yeah. You want to see a reaction. You want to see a much better performance against Leicester. You want to see us get a win. And then the Wolves game is massive because the last home game against a team that we were expected to beat, we were shocking against Everton, right? And that's the big one. And for me, I feel like we go to Leicester, if we can get a result.
For me, Leicester's a lottery because you've got a new manager now, as well. And that always just randomly. It's always West Ham. They always play West Ham new managers.
Well, I don't want.
We could be playing another one if Gary O'Neill loses on Saturday next week.
Yeah,
we could be playing one for the Wolves game as well.
Well, we could, basically. I don't want to go. I don't want to go into the Leicester game and thinking, right, okay, well, if they win, they've got the new manager bounce, and that's the reason why. Yeah. And then we go into the Wolves game, and we just kind of use an excuse.
I genuinely don't think though. Like if we get beat by Leicester, I mean, I don't think he can survive a Leicester loss. I don't think he can. Yeah. I really don't think he can. I know we've got a gap at the bottom there in terms of the league. There's a 6. I think is there a 6-point gap? Let me have a look.
Yeah, something like that.
There is, but if Leicester win, they close that gap to 2 points.
Yeah, and it's a massive game for them to try and claw up the table and to try and drag us into a relegation battle.
Exactly.
Oh, I think we've lost Russ and Alex. We have lost Russ and Alex for a while. I'll see if they come back in. I'll jump through the rest of the comments. I still think he is going to be our manager for the Leicester game, to be honest with you, Narky, but I think the issue is going to be, can he survive the Leicester game if we get beat? That's what we'll have to wait and see. Gentlemen, I am done with this. We've gone backwards, not forwards. It will not get any better. He needs to be sacked now, as fans expect better than this. It will like Moyes was. Derek says, some people just don't want to see the word for the trees. You can say that again, mate. You can say that again. And he'll keep getting 2 games. Arsenal never wants to score second half, so leave Lopo in. Oh, he was there, then he's gone. I just had a flashback to the Ings sitter, and I want to scream again. Reese, I know. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It's essentially we got absolutely destroyed, and Arsenal dictated that game from start to finish. We were never in the game as much as we probably thought we were. The minute that we scored 2 goals, Arteta just switched up and went, kill the game, kill it. You don't need anything else, just kill the game. We need something up our arses for Leicester game, major kick up the arse for the Leicester game. Anyway, I'm going to head. I hope you try and make the best of your evening, as much as it's going to be tough. I will speak to you all soon. Much love. We'll be back soon. Come on, you irons.